Welcome back. You're watching a Checkpoint. Onto the main discussion of the day. We're talking about the BBI rallies and the direction they've taken. We saw the rally in Narok that has caused a lot of uncertainty and tensions between the political class in the country. We saw the rally in Garissa today being the sixth rally. Started from Kisii to Kakamega, Mombasa, where else? Kitui, and now to Narok and Garissa counties. What have been the agenda in these BBI rallies? Are they pro-Mwananchi or not? So we'll be having that conversation. My guest in studio, Dan Manzo, Member of Parliament, Makueni, thank you for joining us. Emurua Dikir, Member of Parliament, Johanna Ngeno, and thank you for joining us, sir. And finally, we'll be speaking to Motalel Olekenta, Member of Parliament, Narok North, who will be joining us by way of phone. We'd also love to hear what you have to say about the BBI rallies and the direction they've taken. Are you satisfied with how the rallies have been conducted so far? Tweet us at Akisawandera, at KTN News KE. The hashtag to use is Checkpoint. I'll be sampling a number of your views and questions to our panelists as we go. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. I think let's start with what happened in Narok yesterday. Johanna, you yourself, the Deputy Governor, and a number of other leaders have been the center of conversation, from staging walkouts out of meetings, snubbing the meeting that happened in Narok. What's your side of the story?
First, I would like to say that the introduction of the BBI, the initiative itself, was a good idea because it was meant to relook at the Constitution and the benefits vis-a-vis maybe the parts which had been introduced in the Constitution which were not good. And the discussion was meant to be a very peaceful and harmonious discussion. It was meant to give each and every Kenyan an opportunity to either give views on how to amend, on what to do, or whatever they want in the Constitution. This Constitution is a national Constitution. It's not a local, it's not a village Constitution. And therefore, when it came to Narok, we thought maybe it was something that was open for everybody, and maybe all of us were supposed to go and air our views, because that is where we came from. Narok is where we come from, and that is where we are as leaders elected in those particular areas. So we thought maybe when it came to Narok, like it was in many other areas, like Kitui, like in Mombasa, like in Kakamega, people were given opportunity to air their views, regardless of which community you come from, regardless of which political divide you come from. So when the consultative meetings started in Kajiado and in Narok, obviously it started taking some tribal inclination, and we started questioning. But then we were assured by the proponents, actually the two principles, that it's going to be all-inclusive. And therefore, we opted to attend that particular meeting. And we were shocked when we were inside. First, we were not even given an opportunity to air our views. And then eventually, we became the subject of discussion that the ills and the historical injustices we are having in this county is because of you. The positions we want to share in this county, we don't want you to be part of it. So eventually, we felt it was not right. And most of the MCAs were abused. So we had to walk out.
Is that why you also as well snubbed the Saturday rally?
And then when we left the consultation meeting, in the manner in which it was handled, we felt that maybe we could not be assured of our security in the final meeting. We may not be even accorded that respect and dignity to be heard in the main rally. So we said, maybe this is something that we were not meant to be in attendance. And then again, you know, the sentiments which were expressed, especially by the planners and the organizers of the meeting, especially by the senator himself and many of those other people, were that was an exclusive Maasai issue. Now, when people start saying it is an exclusive Maasai issue, and we are not Maasai, but we are Kenyans, and we are in our county, so we thought maybe this was not right. And we were expecting actually the president and the prime minister, former prime minister, to intervene. But unfortunately, none of them intervened.
So
and we said we are not attending.
When you compare the other BBI meetings, Kakamega, Mombasa, Kitui, were you satisfied with the manner in which they were conducted as compared to what happened in Narok? Or are you seeing a pattern? I've
never attended any of those particular meetings. And I would say when you look at how the Kakamega was handled, how actually the Nyanza one, the way the Nyanza one was handled, the consultation part of it was perfect. It was right. Same case with the one in Kakamega. But the other part, which was also giving us some worries, was how the rally was being handled. The rally part of it was it became too political. And actually the particular idea, the main intention of the BBI was lost in between. Because when you hear what people are expressing in those particular rallies, it had completely nothing
so what,
to do
you believe in the
with...
You believe in the main idea of the BBI, but not how...
Not how it is being handled, especially the rally is part of it.
Okay.
But I believe in the fact that the committee, which was picked by the president and the former prime minister, I believe that was the right committee which should have gone around the country collecting views. But this politicizing part of it is what is actually going to break the back of this country.
All right. Dan Manzo, you're a proponent of the BBI rather. Yes. Do you believe, in a lot of the ideas and the 9-point agenda in the BBI? What are your thoughts about the concerns of not just the Member of Parliament for Emurua Dikir? There's a section of leaders who seem to be jittery about the manner in which these rallies are conducted.
Yes, you know, initially before this rally started, the president met a few governors, quite a number of governors in Mombasa over the festivities, and kindly asked the governors if they could steer the rallies and the national conversation, because this is a national conversation. And I attended Mombasa. I was there a day before, and Hassan Joho and his team had worked very well together. The members of parliament, the local member of parliament where the rallies be held, and there was very good preparation before the real day. And all the issues were thrashed out to leaders from the coastal region in a full day. And they presented the issues, the conversation for the people, of course. Because first of all, after we had bombers, and this document last Wednesday was circulated through the Standard newspaper, because I've heard some people say they've never seen the BBI document. It is online, and it was circulated through the last Wednesday's newspaper. Anybody who has that newspaper, they can still get a pullout, and I'm sure that document is there. And it has been analyzed quite a number of times. So now, after that document, we have gone into a conversation, and the BBI team itself has now been gazetted. And in the BBI team, we have quite a number of serious experts. Therefore, all these ideas that be given to them. In the cost, the memorandum. In Kitui, I attended Kitui. Before we went to Kitui, we sat down. The members of parliament, the MCAs, and the governors, and the representatives for the governors who are not there. And then we planned, the event twice or thrice. So by the time we got to Kitui, all the issues had been thrashed out, and we knew the major issues dealing with the Lower Eastern region. And similarly, I believe this is what was going to happen to Narok, and the issues have come out. The people have spoken. So I believe without a leader going excessive, because if a leader goes excessive, then there are legal mechanisms to deal with that leader. But if what they have said is what is the wishes of their people, an elected member of parliament or a governor is a representative of the people, they must talk what the people are saying. And I think it should not be taken out of context or misinterpreted, because then the BBI team of experts are going to look through those issues and see what can be brought in the constitution.
But yes, I believe you were able to listen to some of the leaders who spoke in Narok. Yes. Do you think Honorable Ngeno here and his team are justified by some of the claims, some of the concerns they have?
I think the leadership in that region should have sorted out all the matters before they came to the public. And they should have, if that leadership meeting was successful, then it was going to be very easy with the rally. But that notwithstanding, in my own assessment, and as somebody who doesn't come from that region, I believe there are serious issues being raised by the people, there are serious issues being raised by the leaders. A document has been given to the experts on the issues related to that land. And the land is a very serious issue. It is in the Constitution. There's a National Land Commission. There are courts, the environment and land courts. So it's a very serious matter. It's a big matter. Therefore, where people are not happy, they should not be silenced. Let them speak, because this is national conversation. Let them say what is likely to cause breaches of peace in future, what is likely to break bridges. If this is likely to break a bridge in future, let the Ma communities not be trampled upon and silenced. If you see the people, some of the people who are against what the leaders in Narok said, and they've spoke for their people, there are people who have interests. So they should also declare their interests. If they have a need, if they have, some land they have acquired irregularly there in the Maasai land, or the Sambi, because the Maasai people have lived very well with all the communities.
Well,
and in fact, all communities live on their land. And also they go, you've seen them in Nairobi, they come to Kambani Gracie when you have extra grass. They move around everywhere very peacefully with the people.
I'll come to you shortly. Among the things that were said yesterday at the rally is this is our land. Foreigners, quote unquote, should not be allowed to lead us here. This is a Maasai space. I mean, do you agree with such sentiments?
No, that is excessive. That's excessive.
Ledama?
That is excessive, but it also refers where? Within the Ma lands, or the Ma areas or Ma regions, there are cosmopolitan regions. Like in Gong, Kiserian, those areas are very cosmopolitan. But there are other areas where you find they are exclusive for grazing. And we have not seen something very extreme. So it should have been broken down as to what they're referring. But I want to believe, and from the constitution we are making, and that's what we could get to someday, any person should be elected anywhere so long as it's the wish of the people. So if the Ma people want to elect a Ma person, they will pronounce themselves during an election. If in one of the several of the cosmopolitan constituencies of theirs, they will again pronounce themselves.
All right.
The people will always, do it. But we also want to be practical. It will take quite a while before Ngeno is elected in Makueni, or I can go to his constituency. One time I invited us for a rally there, and he had over 10,000 or 30,000, 40,000 people. I mean, and you could see Ngeno he's the man of his people. So how will I go and get elected in his constituency? It's not practical.
Yes.
I think what Mheshimiwa is saying is okay. It's unfortunate also because he's kind of supporting the same sentiments which some few leaders are trying to pursue. One, when you talk about that, this is my county, this is my land, this is my whatever, it is a very reckless statement, because we are talking to a national debate, and we are debating on how to bring communities and people together in this country. We are also discussing on how do we make Kenya great, how do we make Kenya cohesive, how do we make elections every year peaceful and harmonious, and those who are beaten in an election accept the election results and all that. How do we put behind us anything that could have actually brought differences in our countries? But when we start saying nobody should contest in this particular constituency, I remember that is what happened in 2007 in Kilgoris when I was contesting for Member of Parliament. And that is actually what came to be the division of Kilgoris into Emurwadigir and Kilgoris. I won the election and people said you are not a Maasai and therefore you cannot lead us. But then eventually when Kriegler went around the country, he found out that there are some things which need to be done, and some constituencies need to be split, some areas need to be corrected, some historical injustices need to be corrected in the country, which they have done for the last 10 years. But when we come back at this age and era, and you tell us that you cannot run in this particular constituency, I don't think it is right. Who is the MP for Suna? Is he
Jeanette,
a Luo?
yes.
He's not a Luo. And I was shocked when he came to Narok. I started telling the Maasai that you should not allow foreigners to come and lead you. And Raila was there and cheering. And yet, Junet is a member of parliament for Sunna. Who is a member of parliament for cases? Is Mishra. Mishra
yes.
is not a Kalenjin. He's not even a Kenyan by birth. He's just a naturalized citizen. Who is a member of parliament for Kisumu? I don't know, Kisumu East.
It used to be Shakil Shabir.
Yes, he's still the member of parliament. So when you look at that, it's sometimes we need to give people their democratic space to elect the leaders they want. We should not actually, we should not bring our tribal thinking in the subject.
Myself. Even the coastal region is a good example. Nairobi is a good example. I first opened my statement by saying anyone can be elected anywhere. But you have to leave it to the electorate to determine. Yeah. During an election, anyone can
But you cannot legislate. You cannot legislate. You cannot amend a constitution to bar other people from contesting. That is not democracy.
Of course, there will be no. I doubt whether if that's the proposal to amend the.
Those were the sentiments which were expressed in Narok. That no one in Narok. Let me make this clear because I even read the document before it was presented. Before I was kicked out of the meeting, the document claimed that anyone who is not a mass-speaking person, in especially the 3 counties, Samburu, Kajiado, and Narok, should never contest for any position. Starting from MCA, member of parliament, governor, senator, women rep, and all that. And then the other issue, anybody who contests for governor position must appoint a deputy governor from mass-speaking. So what is that?
As you say, let me just wind it up this way.
I want us to speak to Olekenta. Just finish your statement, please.
Yeah, I will just say that at the end of the day, these proposals, if that is a proposal, it will be modified by the experts. And if that goes all the way to referendum, then Kenyans will decide. Okay,
let's now join Moitalel Olekenta will be joining us rather by way of phone, Member of Parliament in Narok North. Thank you for joining us tonight here on Checkpoint. I hope you are watching the show. You've been able to hear some of the sentiments from your colleagues from Parliament, Emurwadi Ngeno and Makueni's Manzo. You're among the leaders who were accused of whipping emotions yesterday using this Narok rally. Do you still stand by your sentiments? What are your thoughts?
Well, I really don't understand by that because I think this thing was done live on TV and everybody heard what he said. And at no time did we say that we do not want to accommodate other Kenyans. In fact, if anything, the Maasai people have been very accommodating. Even the MP for Emurwadi is a beneficiary of the generosity of the Maasai people. Because what is really baffling is that when they walked out of a meeting just because we are translating our proposals to our people using our language, that clearly showed that they do not really respect us as a community. And I think if you have to work together, there must be that mutual respect. We never really said anything against anybody. And what is surprising us as a Maasai community is that the people who have actually eaten from the fat of our land are the ones who abandoned us at our house meal. In fact, I think Kenyans should know that the deputy governor of Narok is actually a Kalenjin. And she walked out on her people, and the people are the people of Narok. And it's not just a Maasai community. They are Kikuyu, they are Luos, they are Kalenjins. Actually, what she did is to show that she is the governor or deputy governor of a particular community. So we never said anything yesterday that was actually out of line. And I think some people are feeling that they thought they could control the Maasai people. When they realized that they cannot do it anymore, they decided to walk out.
When you say that in future you do not allow people who are not Maasais to lead the Maasais in Narok, what does that mean? And being a proponent of the BBI, is this really in line with what you say BBI is going to unite Kenyans and inclusivity even down to the county levels?
Let me just first of all let Kenyans know that I'm a lawyer. And I know what the constitution says. Anybody can actually contest for an elective position. Anybody can own land. And the Maasai did not say at any one time that they will not allow anybody to contest. What the people are saying is that there should be at least some protection of positions as far as communities are concerned. And in fact, you'll realize that in Narok, in fact, the MCO for Narok is not a Maasai. We have got several MCOs from the Kalenjin, and we have been accommodating. So we are not saying that. What the MCO said is that as a community, we really need to look at where we are going. And I think Kenyans should know that during the Legico, for example, we had the Maasai MP for East Valley. He stepped aside, and that's why Moi became a member of the Legico. Morombi was the vice president of this country, and he stood down, and Moi benefited, and that's why he became the president. What the leaders are saying is simply this: we are not going to walk out of our leadership of either of the Maasai or of the country.
Yes.
And we say that we need to be at the national stage, and we need to protect the interests of our people, and that's not a crime. But what baffled us most, and what we felt bad about, was somebody to come and tell us we should not translate what we have written to our people in our language. I remember I knew that speaking Maasai or any other Kenyan ethnic language is a crime in Kenya.
Okay, quickly, before I want us to take a short break, you mentioned that there are MCAs who are Kalenjins, an MP here who's Kipsigis, Deputy Governor. It means it is representative that there are these people in your county. Yes, so then, when you talk about protection of some positions, which are these positions that the Maasais feel should be a reserve of just Maasais from that document that was presented to the team yesterday? We are not saying it should be a reserve, but we are saying that we should not be actually the outsiders in our own county. We should make sure that we are saying that we should make sure that at least we have got some leadership position. In fact, when you look at maybe of names here from a place called Oloma, the majority of people there are Maasai, but he's the MCA. But unfortunately, they do not see the Maasai as part of their constituents. They see them as outsiders. That is what you are saying. They are just telling our people, we must, at the end of the day, also realize that we need those positions for ourselves. And we are seeing the danger that we are facing at the moment. And I think it's not wrong for us to really talk to our people. All right, I'd like us